Good morning. Prosperity every day. December 15th, full moon. A habit of worry. In practicing money madness, many of us become habituated to adrenaline, habituated to a habit of worry. Our finances are toxic, and our terminal vagueness keeps us off center. One of the first fruits of solvency is clarity. We no longer worry needlessly. Counting, we know how much money we have and where it should go. Yeah, I did a down to the penny account yesterday, and I know exactly where I stand, and it's good and gives me confidence and allows me to continue doing it. Um, I budget and I adjust, and I am not perfect. A budget, it's so interesting how initially it feels like it's a constraint. It's a, you know, it doesn't feel good because it feels like some outside entity is going to tell me what to do. It's just classic immaturity clashing up against maturity. And once, I can't speak for anybody else, but once I got on the other side of that, I came to understand that doing the mature thing is really where the freedom lives. The feeling of freedom that I get when I'm being irresponsible is actually slavery. It's so interesting how the perception is so off. It's just so interesting. And I'm just so grateful that I finally succumbed to sanity, succumb to surrender to a higher power's will, which is super simple. Just do the next right thing. It's so simple. Don't steal. Pay your way. Give an honest eight to work. Quit stealing from the job in so many ways. I mean, I outright was just a thief for so many years and never blinked an eye, really actually thought and rationalized that it was a part of my benefits package because I wasn't getting any benefits, so I'm just creating my own benefits. Instead of getting a job with a reputable business, a reputable company that takes care of their employees. But I knew I had again such an irrational, insane need to be fluid and not be tied down and just utterly, completely insane. And, when I say that, it feels like I'm judging that kid, that immature kid, living in fantasy land, as my father used to say. Um, and I have done the work to forgive that kid and also just revel in the fact that that complete arrogance matched with ignorance, great combination, there were some pretty amazing experiences, really, truly high level, peak, amazing experiences. So thank you. Thank you for taking those risks. Thank you for driving into the abyss, pursuing a fantasy, a dream, and uh, I won't fall into regret. So I went for it. I tried to win the lottery on a daily basis. And, guess what? I came up like the overwhelming majority of the people pursuing, uh, you know, an astronomically, incredibly impossible dream. And So I am so normal, so average, and so grateful. It continues to blow my mind really about the idea. I just saw another uh, video about the data on savings for a wide swath of age ranges. And it blows my mind that I'm in a position that's seemingly better than the middle and the average. That blows my mind because I really didn't pay attention to this stuff at all until 6, 7 years ago. So I'm just so lucky that whatever the savings and investing vehicle was during my teaching career did what it did. I basically just didn't pay attention to it. And, thank God there was a little bit of a chunk that got stuck away. And I wasn't really, once I transitioned from full time to part time, I did full time for, I don't know, 10 or 11 years. And then I did part time for like 6 or 7. And, during the part time, I wasn't able to really do anything with the primary chunk. And it just kind of sat there. And that was a little frustrating. But, bottom line is that it was there. I've just now gained access to it. And, um, and I'm in the process of moving it over to my current employer's retirement vehicle. And I'm also taking a chunk out and paying off my student loan 100%. I just made a payment. I, I've always thought of my student loan as a single loan, but it's actually truly two separate loans. And I just paid the lower one off to a zero balance. God, that feels so good to know that. And I'll pay the other one off in January. So I've got two taxable events, one in this year and one in next year. And then I'm debt free. And as long as I continue to surrender to my higher power's will, which is financial responsibility, the seventh tradition, being fully self supporting, meaning creating no outside new debt, interest bearing, crazy ass credit card debt, personal debt, interest bearing car loans, RV loans, boat loans, any of those toys, depreciating asset toys that don't get used that much. I mean, I want a big ass truck. I want an RV. I want all those toys. But it makes no sense to do it. I went camping, I think 2 or 3 times this past summer. Now, I know that if I had a tow vehicle and I had a small camper, I would go camping much more frequently. Absolutely. Tent camping sucks ass. As much as I want to like it, I don't. It's too much hassle. And the idea of having a small towable that's got all the basics is very appealing. And, so if I can do it responsibly, pay off this student loan, and then save up for a tow vehicle and save up for an RV, pay cash, find some ways to make some extra money, do some side hustles, and make it work, you know. Anyways, blah, blah, blah. Life is awesome. So grateful. I gotta look into I don't know. It's Sunday. I think it's full moon. I don't know if the clouds are gonna let go so we can see it or not. But it's another beautiful day. My favorite time of year. Um, yeah. I got nothing. Just grateful. Super, super grateful. Let's do a few of these. It's been a bit. This is my infinite invocation. I, Paul C., have forgiven all and am forgiven of all and by all. Nothing remains in my being, my bones, my muscles, my joints, my memory, my molecules, but love. There is no pain or distress in my joints, my muscles. My body is the body of Source, the living, eternal Spirit. There is one life. That life is my life now. I am the spirit of joy within me, the spirit of, I radiate life. I am life. There is one life. That life is my life now. I claim my spiritual perfection and connection with my inner healing artist and abundance guide. We utilize the practical principles of the 12 steps, 12 traditions, and 12 powers. I expect and accept the healing, the healing, the healing, the healing. So that was the healing of the foot in total, the big right toe knuckle and the outside of the right foot. Totally healed. The right side groin, totally healed. The left shoulder and bicep tendon, totally healed. And all of it, all the internal organs, the entire physical apparatus, and also the emotional apparatus and the mental apparatus. All of the systems completely running perfectly and healed. I expect and accept the happiness. I expect and accept the abundance. I expect and accept the responsibilities and so live that they become a part of my experience now, today. It is my responsibility to harness my creativity by cultivating and manifesting positivity. This is what I want to do today. I'm going to finish this dive into my ABCs, at least get two or three chucked off. It would be really nice to dive into the back room and, just start the reno process. Pull one plank of molding out. One. Just begin the process. Um, Connect with all the sponsees. Just say, hey, what's up? What are we working on? Um, and and call Brian and set up a date so that we can go over the 11th step. Start that process. I got a ton of food. Bring food to work. Um, I've got to reinvest in getting rid of the junk food. I, went to a holiday party last night. So when are the excuses done? I don't really have any Christmas plans. I don't have any New Year's plans. So I got sloppy joes in there. I got a freaking apple pie. Got some Ritz crackers. I got a handful of crap in there. So I can get rid of that crap. Let that apple pie be the last one. Good God. Where's my bottom? Actually talked with a couple of people last night at the party that have experience in OA. And, you know, I got to dive back into that. Um, I'm really getting excited about what the next chapter is in the new year about doing this stuff and seeking, wisdom and suggestions and solutions from any and all other 12-step fellowships to specifically pinpoint areas of my unmanageability and my character defects. So, looking forward to do that in the food area and in the emotional and relationship area and physical health, um, and all of it. So, just interesting. And I'm gonna go to yoga today, and then give working on a 6, Sunday 6. Very excited. So, good day. You will now step into my place and do it, bringing all your powers and intelligence to bear, and considering yourself to being none other than myself. So it is, this or something better still. I am responsible. I am capable. I am aware. I am willing. I am masculine. I provide. I protect. And I decide. I am enough. This is my truth. My life is a treasure. I change my thinking today and thus create my holistic prosperity, health, wealth, and happiness plan. I demonstrate, manifest, and execute from this plan specifically today by number one, tithing, number two, prayer, meditation, reading and writing, three, exercise and right eating, four, budgeting and right spending and investing in my future's financial freedom, five, boundaries and right relationships. I had a boundary moment yesterday uh, with a woman that I have. It's been over 4 or 5 years now, 6 years, 7 years. Good God, I met her when I first moved to town, and I think we've had 3 solid attempts at trying to get something to move forward, and each time running into roadblocks. And so I don't know. This past summer, we tried to give it a go. She was, each time that she would come back around, she's like, "Oh, well, I've taken care of this, and now I'm much more available, and everything's going great and good and good and good." And, you know, these last 2 times of the go rounds, it was presented that she had taken care of, her primary issues, and everything was great. And that would be the case for like a week or two. And then we would slowly start morphing into seeing each other again and marching toward creating relationship and futureness. And then all the previous primary issues would still resurface and be all there. And the solution, it was like she was a kitty cat just dabbing at the solution and not really engaging with it completely. And so the solution wasn't taken. And uh, and I would, invariably acknowledge that and pull away and start moving forward. And this most recent go round was, I mean, we actually had talked about marriage for a half a minute there. And when she was talking in her solution, it was like, yeah, maybe this is it. Okay, great. But, again, it wasn't there. And uh, so I just went quiet and decided to stay quiet. And she rolled into work yesterday and had a pleasant little moment. And I kind of knew that she was going to chime in again. And I, got home from work and there was a message from her. And I did 2 things. I took out a pen and paper and I wrote out my response. She was actually asking for feedback on what happened and what her part was. And, you know, that's like when we were face to face, she gave me a little touch and she said she was sorry for for whatever it was she did. And so she asked me for feedback and and I sat down and I wrote down honest feedback. Now, I only gave her maybe 30% of the feedback, and that the feedback that I did give her was more generalized and, definitely could be seen in a positive light, right? Here's the stuff that wasn't working for me. And um, or not for me, that wasn't working. I kept it as neutral as possible, so that it was honest and real and tangible, but not definitely no finger pointing, and without any kind of any negativity, negative energy about it. And before I sent it to her in any way, I call my sponsor and I tell him what it is, tell him what's going on, and I literally read him everything that I've written down. And I don't think and there was some personal stuff in there that I didn't read anything in there that would give any disparagement to her, right? So I didn't, when I wrote it down, I wrote some stuff that's like, yeah, you didn't this and blah, 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 but that's inconsequential. It's not my job to disparage anybody. Um, but I read to him what it was, and 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 I was like, I I could I could reopen this up, and we could probably, you know, dance around again. And but I just know that it's just not there. Never will be. Wasn't meant to be from a moment go. Literally the first time that I walked away from it really should have been the final time. But um and my sponsor iterated that. He goes, if you call her on the phone, you're going to be opening this back up. And I was like, well, I think the phone call is more real and more responsible. And the idea of texting, I just hate texting, but whatever. But it was the right thing to do. And I texted back about 30% of what I had written. And I just wished her well, wished her happiness, health, and, you know, a bright future, whatever. And sent it. And she just said, thank you. And I wish the same for you. And boom, it was done. And then, and that was done for about an hour. And then she chimed back in with, well, do you want this? Like something that I had left over there. And I'm like, nope. And then there was something else that she wanted to donate, like to a transition house or something. And she's like, well, do you want this to donate to the tea house? And I'm like, nope. And so any of those little attempts to just keep something in there, I just respectfully said no, no, thank you, no, thank you. And it's just done. And also, like, her first connecting text was like, oh, I don't know if you're seeing this, I may be blocked. And I immediately responded, I'm like, no, you're not blocked. I don't need to block you, but I'm not going to communicate with you. It's over. In the old days, our telephones were not blockable. If you had a telephone, I mean, the biggest thing that people could do back in the day was to unlist your number. So you made it hard for somebody to find your number. And I'd never done that, but whatever. So, blocking. So, bottom line is that I handled that as respectfully and as responsibly as possible. I created a boundary and I've respected the boundary, and I've respected the person that I've made the boundary with, right? So it's all good. And I go to a party where I knew that there would be a woman there that I have some interest in, but she shows no zippity doo dah. You know, we had a couple of solid moments where it was just her and I at this party, and it was really the first time I've known the woman for, I don't know, 3 years now. And there's a lot of stuff that checks, like this could be a good thing, but she just doesn't really show any bubble of interest. And it's so funny. I come home like there was a moment in the party where we're sitting on the couch, not right next to each other, but had a nice conversation, talked about some travel, blah blah blah, and uh, and we were in a part of the house that everybody had vacated up because the food was starting to happen, so people were congregating around the food, and like the conversation didn't really end, but like there was that transitional topic, like okay, the next topic's gonna pop up, and she just got up and walked out, and there was no like, oh, I'm gonna go get food. Like there was no social construct of we're completing this conversation and I'm going on to the next, right? She just abruptly got up and walked out. And I was like, oh, okay. And I, I don't know if it's a generational thing. I think she's like, I don't know, she's probably 10 years younger than me, at least, maybe even 15 years younger than me. And just the social awkwardness, it's just mind boggling that people don't know how to fucking begin, have, and end a conversation. I don't know, mind boggling. But, you know, I walk away from that like I had gone to that fucking party with the intention of asking her out officially for something simple. And it just was so clear to me that she really, truly had no spark of an interest. And I'm like, cool, let it go. And I come home and boop, she's, friend request. I can't even say it. She did a friend request on Facebook. And I'm like, ugh, okay, let's be friends on Facebook. Fabulous. But whatever, who knows? So moving on. And, there is another person that I've been quote unquote introduced to. And I'm going to try and shake that up. But it's pretty clear to me that I'll probably be jumping on a frickin' dating app here in the next little bit and giving that a go. I'm going to try and find an app that is for recovering people. That's my tribe. So maybe try to find somebody who flies with my feathers. But, anyways, peace out. Way too long. Good God, that's the longest thing I've ever done.